Hello, beautiful humans, and welcome to this episode of the Untethered Podcast. I am Abby Rose, the spiritual accountant, and your host today. Join me as we dive into all the things financial management, money trauma. If there's an episode to listen to, it's probably this one because I went everywhere. But it was a beautiful journey, and I'd love you to join me for this little chat as we dive into the ebbs and flows of money, vibration before strategy. Why energy determines your business outcomes. I'm just feeling into this. It's like identity, energy, strategy. It's like when people are trying to implement a strategy that's not theirs, right? It's like you're trying to force a strategy or a blueprint because someone told you that's what it is, but you've really got to follow the threads of your own strategy, which can come from your vibration. So vibration isn't just like high frequency. Vibration is like how you move through all of your emotions because the emotion is on the frequency scale. Right? It's not that we want to be high emotion all the time. It's just that we want to understand the language of our soul and use our emotions as the compass. I think there's like people too that will copy, and it's not even from a place of like lack or, it's just they do mean well. They do mean well in that. And it's just because again, they're outsourcing their power outside of themselves. But sometimes, when you do copy something and then repeat it, you then learn. So sometimes it's in the copying, they're trying to learn new skills as well. So this is where I think people really, it's, disadvantageous in business to copy a strategy that you haven't learned, embodied, and that's where people fall flat because when you're just copy paste a strategy and it's not a strategy that comes from you, it's not as embodied. So it's like you're learning as you go along. And that's where you can fumble. I always say when you're creating a business or a revenue stream, you're creating it from you. You're creating it from what you have. You're creating it from what you know. You're creating it from your skills. Like it's embodied. You're looking out in the world and seeing what's missing and going, wow, I can fill that gap. Like I know how to help people. I can do this. I can do that. And, there's always going to be a testing phase as well. When you create products and services from yourself, you're not always going to get it right the first time. And that's where I see like a lot of business owners, they think that if they don't get it right the first time, they've failed. And I always say test and measure, test and measure. Like if you launch something and it doesn't work, that's okay. But if you're prepared or able to do the market research that's required to find out, well, what went wrong. If you can take the criticism, if you can take the judgment, if you can take those negatives, it's going to, and then improve on it, it's going to make your business better. So like it's always feedback. This is why, I'm so passionate about teaching people about vibration and energy and understanding yourself, because when you can attune to it and you can listen to it, any decision that you make, any strategic business decision that you make that comes from that place, it's like it's on steroids, chalk and cheese. Yeah. And I guess that's a really, really good analogy to this of like from my own experience, right? Because I've been in the coaching space a long time. I've got a lot of products. I've got a lot of services. I've got a lot of, some people come to me and they're like, oh, I want this. And then I'm like, hey, what about this? And people are like, oh, I didn't even know you did that. I didn't even know you. Yes, I am a mixed bag of lollies, but always a sweet surprise. And it's just because over the years of my professional experience, I've learned so much in business. I've done a business degree, done accounting, I've done tax, I've done all of these things. I've created my own businesses. I've helped other people create businesses, multiple industries. Right? So I feel like I have, I'm smart and I have skill that I can utilize. So over the years, creating different products and testing them, I remember one of the first ones I created was, financial archetypes. I was like, yeah, people need money healing. Like, let's create a financial archetype quiz, because let's face it, when you can speak to someone's ego, not to like attract them to a product or a service, like you're on a winner there, because we are quite egocentric. right? So I thought to myself, we're so egocentric. Everyone loves to know about themselves. Everyone loves to learn about themselves. Like if I create a financial archetypes quiz and I'll launch it, and then that can be my lead gen into other services. And I spent all of this time, building it out, creating it, like a lot of blood, sweat, and tears went into that. And then when I launched it, it was crickets, absolute crickets. And I couldn't understand why. Like, I've launched this product. It's so amazing. I love it. I think it's the best, but it just didn't land with people. That's when I learned a very valuable lesson. I've always known about market research, but it's at that point where I've gone, oh, I created what I wanted. Now, sometimes when you create a business from what you want, it's because you experienced a gap in the market, so you want to fill it and you can fill it. But I guess in my instance, I don't have the same problems other people have, right? So when it comes to money, sometimes I just don't relate to people's problems because I just don't have them. So it's very hard for me to articulate. So I have to do a lot of market research. I have to ask a lot of questions. And I realized that I created what I wanted on some level. And that's why it just didn't land. So I then began asking questions. I then began it's not just asking questions like you see on Facebook, people go, I'm doing some market research and I want to know, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, well and good. But if you want to kind of take it a little bit further, you need to listen to the conversations that you're having. You need to not just hear the conversations, but deeply listen and understand what people are saying, what they really, really want, and then there's this finite difference between giving people what they want and then giving them what they need. Because especially with business metrics. All right, so here's the difference. I ran a program, Wealth Wisdom, right? So Wealth Wisdom, you could say business metrics is the evolution of Wealth Wisdom. So all my programs have evolved over the years, but Wealth Wisdom originally was a mixture of my Divine Wealth Code, energetics, wealth management, money management. And, I ran that, 13, 14 times, and people loved it. But the feedback that I was getting is they would go through all the spiritual energy stuff because they loved it and it was massively hyped, but then they weren't getting the actual tangible result. They were feeling good, but they weren't getting that tangible result. So I stopped that and I went back to more market research, and it was like I put a question out to my community and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go back to doing some financial health checks, right? So I'll do some business financial health checks. And this was like a free service that I would offer to do market research, to speak to business owners, find out what their problems are, find out what they're struggling with. And it's always the same three things when businesses are struggling. It's cash flow, it's tax, and it's efficiencies, right? So, I mean, you could say there's, it could be staff, it could be blah, 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 but the top three main things, cash flow, tax, and efficiencies, they're the main problems. So when I was creating business metrics and when it landed, before that, I wanted to offer the financial health check. And I did. And I was like, I'm going to offer this to, half a dozen people. And heaps, here's the thing. You can't believe everything you see on social media. I put that offer out. You go to that post that I did and there's absolute crickets on the post. Crickets. No one posted. And I put this down to the fact that people don't want other people to know that they're struggling financially. So no one commented on that public post. But I'll tell you now, my inbox flooded, absolutely flooded. I had heaps of people reaching out. Abby, I want to do that. Please, can I do that? I really appreciate it if you give me the time. Over the years, the amount of people that come into my inbox and pour their heart out over their financial problems, I hold so much reverence. It actually got to a point where about a year ago, I had to turn all my direct messaging off on social media. So most people will find you can't actually, it's hard to message me on social media, or you can go to my business Facebook page. You can message me there, but people pour their heart out. So I was like really in these conversations asking, what's going on with you financially? Okay, for me to do a business health check, I need to see your financials. I need to see your profit and loss, right? I don't have one. Oh, I haven't done my tax in 3 years. Oh, I don't know. And then it was like from this feedback that I was going, holy shit, people like bury their head in the sand when it comes to their money. And I've always known this, but it was like they don't do profit and loss. They don't do their taxes. They've just got their bank accounts open and just like managing their money through their bank account, hoping for the best. And, a lot of business owners, I'll say maybe there's 5% of business owners actually understand cash flow and profit and loss and balance sheet. But a majority of others, no idea. No idea whatsoever. So that's when I created the business metrics. And I was like, I really want to solve this problem. But it's a mixture of not just giving the tangible solution to help these business owners, it's everything else as well. Because after the first time running the program, I was like, wow, that was so great. And I got amazing feedback. Second time running the program, holy moly, this, and it was just going gangbusters. And I was just like, not like massive, massive numbers, but what I feel is a good amount of people going through this program and feeling like literally changing the way they do money. But what I noticed, I think one of the feedback in the first round, the first round was a beta version to get some feedback. And one person, it stands out and it's even on the landing page. One person said, holy shit, a lifetime of money and tax trauma completely obliterated over the 3 days. And that's when I realized this is actually everything I teach, because Divine Wealth Code and all the spiritual upgrades and the spiritual evolution and the emotional evolution, true change happens when you do something differently. So when you devote to those 3 days over business metrics, I'm literally holding your hand, moving through all your money trauma because it comes up. But I'm not sitting down and telling you to articulate to me how you feel, what emotion. We're not like future going into our past and bringing it up properly. We're not doing any of those modalities. We're doing the tangible work, and it's like naturally, I think because a lot of people have done personal development, spiritual development, they know how to self-regulate, they know how to move through things. So it's like, hey, if you've done a lot of personal development work, I've got a program, and you've got money problems, I've got a program that will trigger the fuck out of you. But if you can move through it and get to the other side, I guarantee it'll change your life. The way that it changes is that like when you have a handle over your finances, or you have an understanding, and it's a really simple system, but you've got to actually get through all those mental and emotional blocks to do it. But when you then implement it and you see how easy it is, you then just go like, oh, I can make decisions now. And then the decisions that you start making from your business, instead of making them from fear or scarcity, it's like you're making it from a different place, a like more peaceful place, or an inspired place, or a proud place. So then when you start making decisions from that, feeling like confident, right? Because money problems, all your money trauma that you want to access, right? Because it's all access. All the money trauma you want to access comes from self-esteem, self-worth, and confidence, right? So when you go through this, you're building confidence, you're building self-esteem, you're building self-worth too, because you're giving your time to actually do this. So your decisions in your business then start shifting. So then when you implement a strategy in your business, and the strategy comes from a place of feeling confident, your identity then starts shifting. And then you start disconnecting from those old identities, or the old patterns, or those old behaviors of lack, scarcity, not confident, not worthy. And you start doing things differently, because it comes in the doing, like true embodiment, true transformation. Because Divine Wealth Code, my 7 steps of transformation, it's in my Oracle deck. Divine Wealth Code is awareness, understanding, surrender, transmutation, education. Education is the biggest key, right? But then after education, that's where you embody, do things differently, right? Once you then do it differently, it then becomes natural, and alchemy is the final. So alchemizing the results in your business comes from embodying the new behavior which you learned somewhere, right? Because you transmuted through energetic and emotional block, because you surrendered to it and weren't attached to it, because you understood yourself at a deeper level, because you became aware, right? So it's like this process of transformation through embodiment, through education, isn't just about learning something new. It's not just about implementing a strategy that someone taught you. It's just taking that strategy and anchoring it, right? Taking the strategy and anchoring it, right? So this is a cash flow strategy, right? I see a lot of people talk about cash flow strategies, or I see a lot of money coaches talking about money management. And like, I know some of these people. Some of these people came to me, right? And they're like, I'm a money coach, I'm a manifestation coach, I'm a this coach. And I'm like, cool, let's look at your money. And their management fucking out the window. I'm like, hang on a second, you teach this shit. What are you talking about? How come? Like, it just doesn't make any sense, right? We all have different things, right? Nobody is perfect. Don't believe everything you see from the money manifestation coaches, because I guarantee you it's not true. But anyway, I will digress. Like, more money coming into your bank account doesn't mean you're going to manage it. The solution is not always more money. And I think that's the problem people face right now in our economy. People in scarcity, and people are looking for more money. And I say, yeah, absolutely. And what if we manage it differently? What if we actually manage it in a way that suits us, in a way that feels good, in a way that, because so many people, they outsource their financial decisions to accountants, financial planners, other professionals, right? And I'm just not about that, right? I have people, it's a very common thing. People come to me, Abby, I need advice on this. Sorry, can't help. Abby, I need advice on this. Can you tell me? Sorry, can't help. I never give advice. What I do give is education and information, so that you can learn about money, learn about energy, learn how it's created, learn about business, manage it differently. You make the decisions. You take the action. At the end of the day, the result of your life is the byproduct of all of those choices and all of that action that you've taken. It is nobody else's fault. So I think people, when they're in the, oh, more money, more money, more money, they're just like looking outside of themselves, scrambling of like, how can I get more money? What can I do? And I say, stop, no. We've got to look within, because the answers are always inside of you. When we do that business extraction, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm not giving you the strategy. We're finding your strategy and then teaching you how to listen to that strategy. I can give people 1,000,001 different types of strategies, but whether or not they're going to work is so different. When people feel like they can't manage the money and they just need to get more money, it's just going to come in and then leak out. Money's going to come, like, this is where you'll have what, feast and famine. Like, money also is cycles. You have cycles. So it's so holistic, and it's so hard to try and teach everyone absolutely everything about money in like 40 minutes. But it's like, it's a bit of money management. It's a bit of energy management. It's your emotional management. It's your nervous system management. It's your business management. It's efficiency as well. It's like how you do life, how you relate to people. It's so holistic. And when you're focused on more money, you're just looking at dollars in the bank account and making it mean something about you. So when you make that bank balance mean something about you, like I'm worthy or I'm not worthy, like you have both ends of this spectrum. You have the I'm not worthy, my bank is empty, or you have the my bank is so full and I'm so entitled to all the money in the world, right? It's like money management is a spectrum, right? There's no one way. There's no one problem. It's so multifaceted and multi-layered that when I'm working with people on their money, when I'm working with people on their frequency, if we can start with the tangible cash flow, that's going to give you some real solution of money management where you feel at a loss of not being able to make any more. Like you're capped, your capacity is capped, you're burnt out, you're tired. There's not really any other options for you right now to make more money. So let's look at managing what you have a little bit better or a little bit different or a way that feels good. And then when that feeling internally changes, some things will move. And based on those movements, it'll kind of guide you of where you need to look next. So when we then look next, we're looking at your energetic frequency, right? So I look at your frequency and your vibration, and I'm not looking at your I'm not looking at your high or your low. I'm looking at your baseline, where you predominantly sit, right? Because we all have highs and lows. And the frequency of you is like an energetic blueprint that ripples out into the world, right? So your energy ripples out into the world, and the feedback loop is your reality, right? So when people want to raise their vibration, it doesn't actually mean like I'm gonna always be in joy and enlightenment. When you want to raise your vibration, you want to be able to manage those waves, right? The highs and the lows. Because I'll always, share with people, there's a difference between downloads and uploads. Right. So when you're at the height, you have a download. When you're in the depth, you have an upload. So at the height, the download is usually community based. It's like service to humanity based. It's the download of God, source, universe, soul telling you what to do next, what to create in the world, what to give out to humanity. That's the download. But then the upload, when you're at the trough, right, of your energetic wave, when you're at the trough, it's an upload, right? So this is an internal, right? It's an internal message for you. That's why whenever you do transformation work, the messages you get are always for you. It's for your confidence, it's for your worth, it's for your self-esteem. So that's the upload, because then that upload is going to move your frequency again. It's going to move your wave. It's going to move your cycle. So when you get a handle on these emotional cycles and you get a handle on your frequency, think of this energy as like a voltage, a charge, an energetic charge that you're putting out into the world that you can now go out and create, and you have an abundance of energy because your vibration baseline, it's no longer sitting in like guilt, shame, scarcity all the time. You've actually moved it up, and predominantly you sit in like joy, peace, love, acceptance. You have your heights and you still have your dips. You still go into fear, you still go into guilt, you still go into shame. Nobody's immune from that stuff. But then we're just starting to understand those cycles, knowing when to take the action. If you're sitting in guilt and shame, are you going to take action? Fear? Are you going to take action? Fear-driven action? Ugh, it's like a killer of success. Anytime I'm in fear, and let's face it, there's been a lot of moments I've been in fear, right? Especially recently. Is it real? Is it true? Do I take action from that fear space? Hell no. When I'm in that fear space, I go internal. What am I afraid of? What am I afraid of? And meet it, like face off with that darkness and be okay. Surrender. Get the upload. We're good. We know who we are. We know who we're not. And then we take the action from the space of inspiration, from the space of joy, peace, enlightenment. So when you apply your kind of emotional blueprint, your frequency, your energetic blueprint, the capacity that you have to serve, and we're like navigating all these different cycles, knowing when to take action, not to take the action. This is where your business literally, it shifts, and you can just quantum leap results, right? But it's not, it's so nuanced, because even in quantum leaping that results, if you go into fear and scarcity and you're like, I'm going to create because I need to make, it's never going to work. Or it will work, but then it'll fizzle out very quick. So when you're making decisions from fear, you're just going to get more of same. So with the business metrics, it kind of handles one of those fears. If you're not worried about or fearful of your living and your livelihood, right, then you've got that security blanket there. So I teach that the journey to financial freedom, it happens in three stages. First is financial security, building financial security. Everybody needs financial security. If you don't have that, you're in threat of your life. You're in threat of your existence. Like a lot of people are in this space right now, Look at tent city. It's just increasing. So many people are homeless. It's sad. It's so sad. But once we build that financial security and you start creating more, you then start building more financial confidence, right? And then when you realize that all of the money that you make is a byproduct of what you create in the world, then that's when you can move into financial freedom, right? And that's where when you sit in a space of financial freedom, it doesn't mean you got millions of dollars in the bank account. True financial freedom is that you could have nothing in your bank account and still be financially free because your bank account has nothing to do with your worth. It's just what you put out in the world, right? And it's the byproduct of all of those creations. And even if everything got taken from you, absolutely everything got taken from you, you just create more. You never stop creating. So true financial freedom is realizing that you are the creator. You're the creator of everything. You're the creator of your experience. You're the creator of your bank balance. You're the creator of your relationship. You're creator of the circumstances. You're the creator of everything. So ultimately, you want that identity shift into creation. And a lot of people talk about that. You're the creator, you're the creator, you're the creator. But do you really understand what that means? Do you really understand? Are you really creating the life or are you just reactive to life? Big difference. So, we went on a huge journey today talking about strategy, talking about vibration, talking about business management, financial management. But I think at the end of the day, I get really passionate about this stuff because it's so holistic. It's so nuanced. But if you just start with the want for something different and the willingness to learn something new. I don't know. Like I just had this other little thing drop in of a lot of people are even attached to the identity of holding money trauma, right? They're so comfortable in their life being a victim of money or a victim of their circumstances. They want the change. They say they want the change, but even if the change is delivered to them on a silver platter, they excuses. Something comes up, a priority, it's too hard. I saw, right? Because I did a post in the Untethered group about business because I stopped running business metrics. I'm so excited to run it again. And I literally last year I was like, no more. And I think maybe that was looking back now on my own reflection, that was probably a fear-based choice because of everything that I experienced after being raided. I went into massive fear thinking that, oh my God, my life is over. What can I fucking do? I can't do anything. And then it took me a while to come back and go, hang on a second. I didn't do anything wrong. Good, whatever. I can still do what I do. I'm like, people actually need this program. And I've had it evergreen there, but people just don't sign up to it because they make excuses. They want it, but they make excuses, right? So when I can go, all right, I'll run it. And when I'm walking people through this and I'm teaching people and I'm holding their hand and I'm answering all the questions, no question is dumb, all questions are welcome. And I'm helping people get to the other side because I promise if you're left to your own devices, the chances are slim. So I decided to launch it again. And even people will respond, like when I said, oh, I'm thinking of doing it, who would be interested? And I said, it's a 3-day, the lessons are over 3. It's a 3-day program, but I run it over 4, right? So there's an hour of learning the lessons. Then there's an hour of the call where I'll answer your questions and help you out. And then there's probably another hour of just implementation and getting shit done. So if you can devote 3 hours a day for 4 days, I'll change your life. And I literally had people comment going, oh, I can't do 3 hours a day over. If you were to do it over 4 weeks, then maybe I'll do it. I'm like, you know what? If you actually want to change your life, if you actually want to implement these changes and change your circumstances, you'll make the time. You make the time to do it. And sometimes people need to push their limits because if you're comfortable or if I'm pandering to people's comfort all of the time, there's not going to be change. You have to get uncomfortable. You have to push yourself. You have to face off with the demons. You have to face off with the fears. You're not going to get to the other side by avoiding it. You're not going to tiptoe around it. You have to go through it. The only way to the other side the only way to financial freedom is literally through it. It's through the mud. It's not easy. It's not easy, but it also sitting in terrible money management is also not easy. Like choose your hard. Like they say, going to the gym is and losing weight is hard. Also being overweight is hard. So it's like you got to choose your hard. What hard do you want? Do you want the hard of the comfort of your traumas or your struggles? Or do you want the hard of transformation and change and actually doing things different and getting to know yourself on a deeper level? I think now calls for this more than ever. And I'm so glad I'm running again because the economy is fucked, like seriously fucked. And I'm not going to go down any political stuff and I'm not going to speak into all the legal nonsense that's going on right now. But anyone who tells you that they know what's going on is lying. No one knows. So if you want security over your futures, if you want security over your wealth, protection, over the potential collapse of world economies, it's your knowledge that is going to save you. No one else. It's what you know. It's what you can do. It's what you can give. It's what you can create. That's what's going to save you. Not a piece of paper, not a notice. Nothing can save you except you. Thank you so much for joining me and listening today. If you made it this far, maybe you're interested in business metrics. I'll be running it at the end of February and you can access it through the link on my bio on Instagram. Business metrics. Check it out.